how is the growing influence of far-right Israeli politicians such as Ben-Gvir shaping military policies and settler activities in the West Bank?
After greetings to you, what we followed today of a violation of Ben-Gvir on the Islamic holy sites by storming in the Al-Aqsa compound, that would constitute a state of igniting the whole region. And it seems that those parties of the far right never wish of they're not very much concerned about the stability in the region, and a set of the far right supporters to fuel the region. A great quantities of religious people of the occupation forces do not support what is made by Ben-Gvir, that even it would both a threat for themselves. So they are against the behavior of Ben-Gvir. This is the only thing that would fuel the region.
Sir, what are the strategic motivations behind the growing number of Israeli settlement expansions in the West Bank, and how do they align with long-term territorial objectives?
Firstly, Ben-Gvir personally, that he is losing his popularity within Israel. He wishes to come again to the scenes by violation of the Christian and the Islamic holy sites, by thinking as such to gain more of hardliner supporters to increase his popularity. Another scheme on the table of Netanyahu's government that never wished to lose the far-right parties. This is what is planned by the occupation forces, as it took place in the Ibrahimi compound, that in a great or specific areas for the Jews and other spots for the Palestinian, or rather the Muslim people. So, and we'll divide a day, some hours for the Muslim prayers and other hours for the Jews, and that never took place. This is the status quo that through the agreement along with the Ottoman Emperor, and to have areas for specific divine worshipping without any aggression. But what we've seen today by Ben-Gvir and a set of the extremists, that an a bit of ending such an agreement, which was called before the status quo rearrangement.
To what extent has the international community's response to West Bank developments influenced Israeli policies on the ground?
Today, after 660 days of war in Gaza, the whole world knows that the matter never is related to a response of October 7th, 2023. The matter is very much concerned about killing people and killing thousands of people. Nothing but to receive a denunciation by the international community by sending some humanitarian aid, and we're talking about an international crippling to stop the hardliners of the Israeli cooperation when the EU is trying to threaten the occupation forces following scenes of starvation and famine by annexation of the Palestinian territories, and then the European Union would say that we review the trade partnership agreement with Israel, and they are addressing it to increase the size of the trade ties with Israel. Despite all of that, and I think up till now, the international community, by its unofficial and official component, is very much crippled to put an end to the state of occupation and the far right parties that would make him to continue what they are doing against the Palestinian people.
So how have repeated displacements and the destruction of infrastructure actually impacted Gaza's civilian resilience and ability to recover?
Certainly, when the images of the airdrops on Gaza in a few days, we've seen the size of devastation that the Gaza Strip is suffering. And we've seen this in the hospital. That would highlight that the occupation wishes to destroy what is left in Gaza by killing people, animals, devastate or destroying the trees, and leaving nothing to be applicable for life. With respect to recovery, Egypt had laid down a plan for such a thing, but this would require some time. The most dangerously, the human being to rebuild them again is very much difficult. After the starvation, so there should be will be unqualified for such a rebuild or a recovery. We've seen people were killed seeking food, and that would have a great much of time to be held. And then we'll talk about the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, and the matter is also related to the West Bank that is already exposed to slightly destruction. The whole world isn't very much concerned about.
Mm-hmm. Well, from Cairo, that was Mr. Ayman Rakb, political science professor. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Q News. And now we move on to the latest developments in Gaza.